Hi Kate, thanks for joining us for another one of our instalments of the Fit Show family. Kate Ashley Norman is a leading expert in mental health, particularly within the construction industry, and you actually spoke for us at Fit Show last year, didn't you?
I did indeed, yes, I did.
So for people who don't know you, Kate, do you want to just kind of give us a bit of an overview about who you are and what you do?
Okay, certainly, yeah. Well, I'm actually kind of an old hand in the window industry. I worked in the window industry, gosh, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, more specifically within the PR. Left and retrained in mental health, emotional well-being, emotional intelligence, that kind of thing, positive psychology, if you like. And I've actually recently returned to the country, and I'm very, very interested in helping companies to actually help their employees to build up their emotional well-being. So that's my background, if you like. And I think that specifically within the window industry, it's a really interesting concept because it's not something that is very well tackled overall.
And for those who didn't manage to catch your seminar at the Fit Show last year, could you kind of give us a bit of an overview of which kind of themes and topics you covered off?
Yeah, it's really trying to change the way that people think about mental health. So at the moment, and it still persists, the way that people think about mental health is very much of a reactive, in a very reactive way. So they think about it as in the disease model as well, so that it's an illness, and that people, when they're mentally distressed, they're ill. And what we're trying to do is to actually change that perception, so that it's actually something that people can very much take in hand themselves and empower themselves. Mainly just through knowledge and awareness and all that kind of thing. I think, you know, when people say that they're depressed, that there is still that stigma there. And people, you know, kind of look at you and think that actually, you know, that you think there's something wrong with you, that you're ill, that there's something wrong with your brain. But it's actually not that at all. It's actually just 99.9% of the time, it's just it's a perfectly normal, healthy reaction to what's going on around you. And certainly with everything that's going on with, or that has been going on with COVID and is continuing with the COVID, people are having to deal with an awful lot more uncertainty and unpredictability in their lives. Yeah. So the increase that we're kind of seeing in general around mental health is actually perfectly normal. It's not that people are getting more ill, it's actually a perfectly normal reaction to what's going on.
Yeah, so that's probably a really good point to touch on, having gone through or still going through global pandemic and COVID-19 and the impact that that's had on mental health. So you talked about you know, people's reaction being normal. Have you seen any big trends or changes or big or you know, commonalities in the themes of people's issues?
Yeah, it's been quite interesting to watch it. I don't have all the facts and figures to hand, but certainly the general themes seemed to be, when it all kicked in around March time, there was a big rise in anxiety and people, because obviously people are anxious about what's happening, about their jobs, about maintaining an income, all that kind of thing. And of course, as the furloughs kicked in and as people realised that, you know, they're going to be in it for the long haul, so they kind of got themselves sorted out a bit financially, and they were not so the anxiety level dropped. But the depression level seems to be kicking in a little bit more. Now that's kind of in general, you know, I'm not talking about the construction industry or fenestration particularly. But I think within the fenestration industry, it's quite an interesting one because because as we've seen, there's a lot of demand. Businesses seem to be going great guns at the moment, which is fantastic. But there's still a lot of unpredictability. There's still a lot of not knowing what the future is going to bring. Are people going to be still in employment in 6 months' time? Is it going to continue like that? So it's you know, it's all these things which are you know, mixing everybody up a lot. So it's, you know, it's important that we maintain a certain kind of emotional awareness, that actually when we're feeling anxious or when we're feeling depressed, it's not because we're feeling ill, it's just because to actually take a step back and have some perspective. That actually it's normal to feel like that. I have amazing anxiety sometimes when I think about, you know, what's going to happen in the next 12 months and you know, 5 years even, but that's perfectly normal. And it's about, you know, maintaining awareness of how you're reacting, and then having the ability to sort of step back and you know, take a different stance on the way that you're reacting and try and rationalize it a little bit more, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not kind of feel as though you're going down a slippery slope into some kind of illness. It's about giving yourself that kind of breathing space, and that's a really, really important skill to develop.
So what would be your kind of top tips then for people who are either, you know, facing the uncertainty around the job, or going back into the workplace and might be having anxieties around that? Do you kind of have a toolkit of top tips that can help people overcome anxiety?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, there's all sorts of things that you can do, but I think probably mainly just focus on those things that you have kind of some kind of control on.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We can't, whatever happens out there, we can't always control it. I think the headlines in the paper this week is that masks are having to be worn in schools. Now, I think that's, you know, I've got 4 kids, and I think I don't like the fact that they're having to wear masks in schools. But it is what it is, and there's no point me getting frustrated and irate about it. It's just, you've just got to go with the flow. So there are certain things that you've just got to go with the flow and just got to follow the path and all that kind of thing. I'm just going to contradict myself there, because I said that in the paper. I'd also say don't read the papers, don't get caught up in kind of, you know, all the arguments and the sort of social media coverage and all that kind of thing. You know your own mind. You know, just it's about not getting caught up in what you can't control. That is the number one, and that's probably one of the biggest things that you can actually do.
That's a really good tip. Yeah, thank you for that. So we're obviously hoping to have you on board for Fit Show next year. I think mental health is going to be a recurring strong theme. It was obviously heavily promoted in the media last year, certainly around you know, male suicide rates within the construction industry. So yeah, very looking forward to having you back next year. And you know, hopefully we can raise some more awareness for this very important topic within our industry. Thank you, Kate.
That's a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.